How's it going, everyone? It is Andre Williams, and today we're going to be talking about AMC and GME. We've seen a lot of volatility going down inside the market, but I still see some bullish movements from these two stocks. We already know they have a ton of volume and a ton of demand behind them, and even the movement that's behind them. But what we can also do is make short-term and swing trade opportunities off the price action. So what I'm going to be doing, I'm going to be doing a technical analysis on both of these, and then we're going to be taking a look at the institutional ownership and as well as the short interest. Knowing all of these factors will give us a great setup going into tomorrow for anyone who's interested in following through with this game plan with me. So it won't take any more time. Let's get straight into it. All right, so we're going to be doing a technical analysis for AMC. We ended up seeing lows on the day for Friday at $10.01 and ended up seeing a high at $11.53. So as we take a look what was going down inside the pre-market, we ended up having a strong gap up right over here, and then we ended up hitting a resistance level here right at $11.70. We could call it that. It did spike up and hit a high of $11.90, but $11.70 was the area that was tested. Another area to also take a look at that was being tested in the pre-market as well was around $11.55. So as we get into the open, let's take a look at what the support level was first inside the pre-market. So we can see that the support level over here was also $11.30. So why are we paying attention to this? As soon as we get into the open and we break through that $11.30, we end up seeing a strong downward movement down to $10.01. And the good thing about it is we see this was a strong area of support for AMC because it was able to rebound back very quickly. Now, the next resistance level that we need to take a look at that we started seeing was right here at $10.41. And this pretty much lasted for quite some time, all the way going from 105 going into the close and also being an area of resistance in after hours. Now, if we take a look at the area of support, look at that area of support that we have right here that held up very well in after hours, right here at $10.17, considering that it ended up finishing the day regular trading hours at $10.24. It's not that big of a difference, and we're still looking forward to a bullish trend because, as you can see, as it got to the end of after hours, it did a great job curling back above the 21-day EMA, and that's something that we really wanted to see, and it gives us a good setup for next week. Let's take a look quickly at the 5-day 5-minute chart to see how it's been going for the last 5 trading days. And then, as you can see, this is an area where AMC has definitely been able to hold down, especially this area of support right here at $10. So as long as it's staying above this area, I will remain bullish. Also, taking a look now at the 3-month 1-day chart, we want to take a look, is it going back on trend, right? So I'm just going to move this out a little bit for you guys. As you can see right here, as we go on forward, yep, we got right above there. And then we ended up breaking the trend, which we covered in the video already, getting down here all the way down to $8.92. But did a fairly good job actually recovering from this area and then reclaiming, getting up to the $10.24 where it closed on Friday. So that's part of the reasons why I'm saying there's still more room for a bullish movement to happen, and we definitely, once we get past this resistance area here, right, that you could see around this 1080, we could see a strong move going into 11, and once we pass 11 and get to 1150, we could see a strong move going to 12. If we take a look even down here at the RSI at 50, it's still around the fair, and it's still a good indication to show that, you know what, there's still a lot of volume, there's still a lot of demand behind this stock. All right, so we're now on fintel.io for AMC. So we want to take a look at what's going on in regards to institutional ownership. So as we scroll down on the page, if you guys remember, green rows indicate new positions and red rows indicate closed positions. So we're going to be taking a look what's been happening recently with institutions, and we can see there's been a ton of activity, especially near the endings of March. If we take a look at the most recent of closed positions, this was back on February the 17th. So as we could see from fintel.io, of course, a lot of institutions are showing interest in AMC, and this is definitely something that is good to see and also adds to overall momentum. So now what we want to do is take a look at the overall short interest. So we see the short volume ratio is at 21%. If you look at the short shares availability, it is around 950,000. And if you take a look at the short borrow fee rate, it's at 2.80%. So just a bit higher than GME. And if we take a look at the history of the short volume ratio, it's definitely creeping up, and it's something that we love to see. So we could see it's at 21.38 on March the 26th. But if we go back to March 15th, we could see it was here right at 22.23. So that was where it was at its highest, right? Which is something that also to take a good look at. And if we take a look at going forward from that date, so for the March 16th and on, now we're up to 21.38, and it's been trending upwards. So this is definitely something that we love seeing. And like I was saying before, anything above 21% gives the stock short squeeze potential, and the fact that it's right there and it looks like it's going to continue to climb. I'll be looking forward to seeing what price action starts to look like, especially going on for next week. So we're going to be doing a technical analysis for GME. So we could see on Friday it had a high of $218.93 and it had a low of $163.26. You can see right over here in the pre-market, we end up having a gap up, and definitely this was a resistance area here right at the $207 range. These were areas that were tested in the pre, but we were unable to actually have a full amount of price action above it. So as we got here into the open on Friday, we ended up having a strong sell-off, getting down to the levels of $186. So this literally ended up being an area of support for a good portion of the morning. If we go across right here, even going into the afternoon, it held up very well all the way going into around 1:10 p.m. as you can see over here. It did have a moment where it broke through it, but as you can see, it recovered very quickly. So it was good seeing that that was a level of support for quite some time at 185, and we've talked about this on the channel already. So we ended up breaking through this particular support area and then getting down to a low of 163 that you can see right here, but definitely spent a lot more time in this 165 to 167 area. Another area to take a look at is around this 170. So we start going into the close and we end up finishing off the day at $181 during regular trading hours. So as we got into after hours, which is a gray shaded area that you see right here, we ended up finishing at $178.51. So what we can see here right away, and it has shown this being an area of support, is right here at this $178 range. It's definitely looking like it's holding it down very well, and it's definitely a good showing of the fact that, you know what, it still continues to have a bullish pattern. If we take a look at the resistance areas, we could definitely see we had some resistance right over here at the $210 range, and another resistance level here at 195, and then another resistance level here. As you can see, that kind of stayed around for a bit, especially during regular trading hours right here at $185. So that's definitely an area that we want to see GME get past come tomorrow. So now let's take a look now at the 3-month 1-day chart, so we have a bigger overall picture of what the trend is actually looking like. So as you can see here right in front of you, currently this is where we're at. We broke the trend, ended up touching down on the 50 days simple moving average right here, and we ended up using it as a line of support. As you can see, we bounced right off, and now we are back on trend with the 21-day EMA. So this is actually looking good, and we continue to look forward to seeing a bullish pattern actually develop from this. But like I was saying before, it'll be very, very crucial to see GME get into that 185 area so it can make a move to 200 come next week. We could also take a look down here at the RSI. It's right at 50, so that's right at fair value. Like I said, there's a ton of demand and there's a ton of volume behind this particular stock, so that's part of the reasons why we see strong price action. So like I was saying before, once I see it kind of get up into that $200 range, I'll definitely be looking to do some swing trade opportunities. I might even think about getting in earlier because I like how it's looking in regards to next week, especially since it's back on trend. All right, so we're now on fintel.io for GME. So we're taking a look at the institutional ownership, right? So we want to see some recent movements that have been going on with institutions. So as you guys know, green rows indicate new positions and red rows indicate closed positions. So as we could see right here, and this is actually recently, even as recent as March 26th, which was Friday that just passed, look at the amount of activity that we have going on in regards to GME. Like, I haven't seen anything in regards to closed positions in quite some time. As I scroll through this screen, look at this, going as far back into February, and as we continue, look at this. As far as the institutions, the big money, they're definitely remaining bullish on GME. And now the next thing to take a look at, we're going to take a look at the short interest. So as we take a look at the short interest for GME, it is around 27%. As far as short shares availability, it is only at 65,000, so not many. And also, if we take a look at the short borrow fee rate, it's at 1.03%. And as far as the short volume ratio, we can see that it's definitely been on an uptrend, especially if we take into consideration of the date of March the 22nd and on. So you can see from the 22nd to here, it's definitely been climbing up slowly. So that's something that we really want to see. As we know, anything above 21% just adds to the short squeeze potential of the stock. So for my final thoughts on AMC and GME, I'm definitely looking forward to seeing some bullish movements come this week, especially starting on Monday. One thing that I want you guys to be aware of when you're watching the short interest section and the institutional ownership section, things are actually looking pretty good. And if we put the technicals on top of that, we can see there's definitely some more room for some momentum to happen in regards to price action, which we can actually profit from. The next thing that I want to cover, every time when you go in the media or you go on the internet, you see a lot of bashing going on saying, oh, AMC this, GME that. All I'm going to tell you is this is part of the reasons why you need to have a plan when you're trading these two particular stocks. You need to be focused. In regards to what the media has been saying, there's been a lot of inaccuracies. There's a lot of fear mongering that is going on as well. So I would say just make sure that you stay focused if you're interested and you're doing these two plays, and if you're a part of the movement as well. That also makes you want to put in the disclaimer. I'm not a financial advisor, and this isn't financial advice. So just know when you do invest, you're doing it at your own risk. We'll talk soon.